Greetings, I am Gresham Zedam, and welcome back to a new, old series with a new look to it. Gresham Reads. As you can tell, today I shall be reading Memory by H.P. Lovecraft. Now, if you are not a fan of H.P. Lovecraft or his work, then consider leaving suggestions for future stories for me to read. Every recommendation will be considered and will be greatly appreciated. Even if they are not selected, they will potentially be selected at a later date. So, it is something to consider. But in the meantime, let us begin, shall we? In the valley of Nice, the accursed waning moon shines thinly, tearing a path for its light with feeble horns through the lethal foliage of a great upas tree. And within the depths of the valley, where the light reaches not, move forms not meet to be held. I believe that's supposed to be mint, but I could be wrong. Rank is the herbage on each slope, where evil vines and creeping plants crawl amidst the stones of ruined palaces, twining tightly about broken columns and strange monoliths, and heaving up marveled pavements laid by forgotten hands. And in trees that grow gigantic in crumbling courtyards leap little apes, while in and out of deep treasure vaults writhe poisoned serpents and scaly things without a name. Vast are the stones which sleep beneath coverlets of dank moss, and mighty were the walls from which they fell. For all time did their builders erect them, and in sooth they yet serve nobly, for beneath them the great toad makes his habitation. At the very bottom of the valley lies the river Thon, whose waters are slimy and filled with weeds. From hidden springs it rises, and to subterranean grottos it flows, so that the daemon of the valley knows not why its waters are red, nor whither they are bound. The genie that haunts the moonbeams spake to the daemon of the valley, saying, I am old and forget much. Tell me the deeds and aspect and name of them who built these things of stone. And the daemon replied, I am Memory, and am wise in lore of the past. But I too am old. These beings were like the waters of the river Thon, not to be understood. Their deeds I recall not, for they were but of the moment. Their aspect I recall dimly, for it was like to that of the little apes in the trees. Their name I recall clearly, for it rhymed with that of the river. These beings of yesterday were called man. So the genie flew back to the thin-horned moon, and the daemon looked intently at the little ape in a tree that grew in a crumbling courtyard. So for this one, I had chosen a shorter story, a fairly short story, just to see how well this would be received. Again, if these tales are not to your preference, then feel free to make suggestions in the comments below. If you enjoyed whether this video or the idea of this video, then consider leaving a like. and ensure you share the video around with individuals who might enjoy this, whether this story or this series. But also make sure to subscribe to the channel. If my content is not to your taste, then perhaps one of the other voices, or perhaps Darkus himself. Excuse me. But if my series is not to your liking, then perhaps Darkus himself or one of the other voices might provide entertainment more suited to you. It is merely something to consider, I suppose. In the meantime, make sure to also check out Darkus on his live streams every Thursday and Friday, unless something comes up, in which case he will alert the people. But either way, that will call it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to continuing this. So, I thank you all for joining me. And that was... excuse me. Had a bit of phlegm in my throat. But as I was saying, I do hope you all have a pleasant day. I am Gresham's at arm, and I will see you in the next video.